Today, we're going to look past the famous bowler hat and cane to see something pretty amazing. We're going to use Charlie Chaplin's own camera as a kind of X-ray. We'll decode his sharp, critical vision by digging into two of his most legendary films, Modern Times and The Great Dictator. So, here's a wild question for you. Can a silent comedian see the future? I know, it sounds a little out there, but when you really look at Chaplin's work from the 30s and 40s, you find so much more than just laughs. You find this incredibly clear vision of the forces that were about to shape his world, and, as we're about to see, are still shaping ours.
And this is the core idea we're running with. His films weren't just entertainment. One study actually calls them a profound X-ray image of society. It's like Chaplin was peeling back the skin of the world to show us all the hidden machinery and manipulation humming just underneath.
Okay, first up is his 1936 masterpiece, Modern Times. Now, this film is a powerful critique of an industrial age that was obsessed with efficiency, and Chaplin wanted to show us exactly what that obsession was doing to people. So, take a look at this. This is one of the very first things the audience sees, just a big, tightly packed herd of sheep. They're all moving in the same direction, not a lot of individual thought going on, just an image for a second. And then, bam, Chaplin immediately cuts to this. A huge crowd of factory workers, shot from a really similar angle, just pouring out of the subway and into the factory. The connection is instant. It's unforgettable, and he doesn't need to say a single word to make his point. What he's doing here is a classic trick of the trade, the visual metaphor. Chaplin takes all the ideas we already have about sheep, like mindless conformity, just being herded along, and he slaps them right onto the modern worker. It's just an incredibly smart and fast way to land a really complex idea without any dialogue at all. So here's what's so brilliant about it. What you literally see are sheep, then people. Simple enough, but the deeper meaning, well, that's a powerful critique. Chaplin is basically shouting that the whole industrial system is stripping away our humanity until we're just another part in the big machine. And this idea isn't just a one-off gag, it runs through the entire movie. Chaplin uses his comedy to explore how we're all becoming a little more like machines, how unique skills are being replaced by mass production, and how the whole promise of prosperity just isn't working out for so many people, leaving them fighting for even the basics. Okay, so now let's jump ahead. 4 years later, the world is on the very brink of war, and Chaplin releases The Great Dictator. This time, he turns that X-ray vision of his away from the factory and aims it squarely at the terrifying rise of fascism and the mechanics of tyranny. Now, the date here is so important, 1940. America wasn't even in the war yet. This was an unbelievably bold and frankly dangerous movie to make. Chaplin wasn't just making fun of some random dictator, he was going right after Adolf Hitler, breaking down his propaganda methods while Hitler himself was at the peak of his power. You see, Chaplin understood that this kind of power wasn't just about force, it was all about image control. He saw a clear playbook that guys like Hitler were using. They put on this soft, caring public face, all while hiding their brutal policies. They used symbols of hope to distract everyone, and then used these powerful speeches to manipulate the masses. And this scene from the movie just illustrates that playbook perfectly. The dictator, Adenoid Henkel, he stages this whole photo shoot with a little kid. It is a classic propaganda move, totally designed to make a brutal leader look like a warm, fatherly figure. And as the analysis points out, this is no accident. It is a highly strategic, calculated move. By associating himself with the innocence of a child, the dictator makes himself seem more human. It creates this public image of someone who cares about the future, which is a perfect mask for the brutal reality of his regime. Chaplin saw this act, and he exposed it for the performance it was. So if you put these two films side by side, you can really start to decode Chaplin's incredible visual language. He wasn't just a comedian, he was a brilliant semiotician. He deeply understood that images create meaning that goes way beyond what you literally see on the screen. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. In Modern Times, you have the visual metaphor of the sheep and the workers, and the message is clear: dehumanization. Then in The Great Dictator, you have the propaganda imagery of the leader with a child, sending a powerful message about how authoritarian leaders hide their true nature. Two totally different movies, but the exact same razor-sharp technique. All right, so why does any of this matter today? I mean, these are old black and white films. Well, it matters because Chaplin's X-ray didn't just show the problems of his time. It exposed these deep fault lines in society that are absolutely still with us. The parallels are kind of startling, right? Chaplin's critique of people being turned into machines, doesn't that sound an awful lot like our modern gig economy,
where people often feel like just another cog in an algorithms machine. And his exposure of propaganda and manipulative speeches, well, it feels like it was written for our world of 24/7 news cycles and chaotic social media feeds.
And that kind of brings us to the final thought. Chaplin used his art to see through all the noise and expose the underlying truth of his world. So the question his work really leaves us with is this: if we could apply that same critical, comedic X-ray to our society today, what hidden fractures do you think we would find?